Hello everybody, this is Jack Severson reaching out with my video response for the week 3 discussion post on the lesson plan template video. So to start off, I'm not entirely new to lesson plans. The way it worked at my previous site was that the lesson plans would be written and provided directly by a curriculum specialist within admin. So for me personally, especially as a co-teacher, I would look over lesson plans with another gen ed teacher, but I was not as intimately involved in the drafting process. And I have actually started to draft my own personal lesson plans from scratch for my new school that I'll be starting at soon. But those are even a little bit different because they are primarily focused on small group instruction and small group pullout. So it does look a little bit different than a full, roughly hour-long lesson plan. That being said, I do want to comment on some things I've noticed. I find that this lesson plan template is very detailed, and that provides a lot of opportunities for people to reflect on different things. For example, I really appreciated the whole section on classroom management because I've seen it many times. I know that can be a challenging thing to go through, and having questions such as, how you create a healthy learning environment, how you make sure it's supportive and safe. I think these are good to keep in mind for teachers as they move through, so they can have the opportunity to reflect on that aspect of the teaching, because I know that can be very challenging. As for 3 aspects that I feel like I could personally find challenging, for number 1, I looked at the section under establish environment. And one of the questions is to describe the range of socioeconomic backgrounds for students. I think that is, of course, very important to keep in mind, and this is sort of more of a question I have right now. I'm just curious going forward what sort of data or what sort of methods we would use to inform that decision. Are we looking at enrollment data, background data, that sort of thing? Because I think it's important simultaneously to keep those aspects in mind, but also to be data informed rather than, of course, asking students directly or making assumptions. I liked how the template had different sections for co-teaching and what that can look like. I think that's very important to keep in mind, especially because each gen ed teacher, in my experience, kind of has their own style for what they think will be most effective. My question is, next to the little section called special educator, that is left blank on the template, so I would want to go in more and I guess research into what that will actually look like. And finally, for a part that I feel like I might find somewhat challenging, is at the end there is a section based on self-reflection, which is of course very important, but I am somebody personally who at times has an opportunity for growth with self-reflection. I've been told that I tend to be a little bit overly hard on myself and overly critical. But I think, filling out that part of the template will be a useful exercise going forward on how to manage that and also how to grow as a professional. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing everyone else's responses.